Yeah, it's a good basketball team. It's a good college basketball game. Give Alabama credit. They showed why they were picked number 2 in the country preseason, rated there. Nothing for us to hang our hat or our head about today. I felt pretty good, to be very honest. And you guys know me, I'm doing this a long time. I'm never very happy with a loss, but we had a couple of moments where one in the first half, one in the second half, we kind of lost our poise, and they capitalized. And then it was fundamental things. We don't give up middle drives. They score 12 points on middle drives. They have 12 points in transition, which they're very good at. But and then you just can't go on the road and miss as many free throws as we missed, and expect to beat a good team. But their shooters made 5 threes. Their really non-shooters who we didn't guard were 5 of 20. Obviously, Nelson hit the first 4 of the game, kind of got them going. We've got to do we're dorking him. We weren't guarding him. And that was the plan going in. He's a career 26 or 27% three-point shooter. Give the kid a lot of credit. He made it. He's one of my favorite players in the country, and watching him because he's a tough kid. But they banked 2 in. I thought our job on Sears was really good. We stepped up to that challenge, and for the most part, I thought we did a good job on Weitzel. Filan showed why he's a pro and moving up everybody's draft board. That's a bad boy right there. So out rebounded him. Felt great about that. I thought that was a big challenge. I thought that would be the key stat of the game. It turned out to be free throw shooting and our turnovers.
Okay. So go ahead, Scott. Start Scott and then we'll go to Karen.
What'd you maybe like, from Kylan and Will in the second half to kind of spark things a little bit for you guys?
Well, I'm proud of Will because he wasn't very good in the first half and had just, I think he had the one possession, he missed 3 at 2 feet. And, give them some credit. They crawled in and they were physical. But he bounced back. He showed what he's capable of offensively. I loved Kylan tonight. He was positive in the huddles. He was encouraging. He was talking. He was so engaged mentally. He's been really good defensively all year. But just to see the ball go in, I thought for the most part we had 3 or 4 possessions where we went off 1 foot between he and KJ, and it got him in trouble. When we went off 2 feet, I thought we were excellent in our ball screens, and those guys are really, really good. And so it was great to see those 2 guys get going and have nights, and maybe especially after tough starts. But both of them better learn to make free throws, and they're both good free throw shooters because that was ridiculous.
Derek.
Brad, I know you didn't build this team for November. It was going to be a process. What have you learned with this one and Ole Miss, and where you guys are at, and what you've taken away from that standpoint of it?
Well, I think you got to understand, we didn't try to win at Ole Miss. It wasn't about going to try to win. We played everybody in that, and it was, there was no real scheming going on or scouting. So that was about just getting your feet wet and going through the process. Championships aren't won in November. Go ask coach from Alabama. I think they lost 5 or 6 last year, and were early and maybe 6 and 5, I think, at one time. And Nate did a good job of keeping that team together, and all of a sudden they're in the Final Four. This is about growth. I love Tommy. I loved. Good to see Ben get going. We have to get more than 1 rebound out of Ben. I think, we're going to have nights when Dre and Trey and those guys are really good. So it's just about, kind of piecing it together. But I liked our fight. We got down 16-18 and could have very easily hung our head. I thought KJ was the best player on the court in the first half. So yeah, it's a lot of process, and then we can't make the fundamental mistakes we made in our fundamental stuff, and that was really costly.
Coach, if I would have told you that Mark Sears didn't score a single point before the game, you probably would have taken that. What does it say about the rest of that team that they were able to score 100 points without their All-American contributing anything?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they should have won at Purdue, and he didn't play very good. And I thought Purdue did a good job. I think that, he's in a position on the scouting report where everybody's going to pay attention. He's at the top of it, and he's the head of the snake. And everybody said he's a first-team All-American. He's a really, really good player. Our whole goal to this thing was if he made a three, it needed to be contested, but for goodness sake, don't foul him. And let him, force him to be a passer. And, it was worked at Purdue. They did a great job of keeping him off the line, and then that was our goal tonight. And then to really make him uncomfortable handling. Kylan's tremendous on the ball. Can really get it. I mean, he's as good as we've had guarding the basketball, and we just want to make him tough. And took his ball a couple times, and stuff like that happens. But he's a veteran. He's a senior. He's an All-American. But I can't say how impressed I am with you pronounce it, Phylan. Wow. He's not gonna be in a Bama uniform very long. He's a really good player, and but I thought he did a great job. Reitzel's a veteran, steady. And then Aiden came in. He's played the point guard a lot, and throughout his life, and he was really solid, including his 2 banked threes. But yeah, that's a deep team, and it showed tonight.
You mentioned the 2 moments where they lost composure in each half. Just what did you see in those, and then how did you basically them handle?
Yeah, we didn't run anything. We just kind of just got sporadic, and it was 1 on 5, and let's go do our deal. And we went from executing in ball screens at a really high level and getting the shots we wanted. We had really good looks in there, but we got out of character. We turned it over, I think, 3 times, 3 possessions in a row. Missed an open look, and then missed front ends or missed free throws. And those are the moments you have to eliminate. And then we had kind of the same thing in the second half. We got up, got it to 8 maybe right there, and then it was, kind of a offensive rebound for them and a 3, and then we just kind of came down and made 2 quick turnovers, and those are the things you got to avoid. You got to be disciplined. You got to be tougher. I've got to help them there. I've got to slow things down and make them execute. But yeah, those are things we got to get better at.
Derek?
Offensively, how much do you think that second half is something for Kylan to build on? A guy that has had a slow start offensively up to that point, but really seemed to find something there.
Yeah, it's even though he's a transfer, he's older. It's still a new system. It's completely different than what he's been a part of. So he's just finding his way, and he's in the gym every day. He shoots 1 million balls. He's a career 40% 3-point shooter. I've said it many times. I think he's got a chance to be one of the best 2-way defenders in the country, or 2-way players in the country. Tonight he showed what he can do from the 3. I think you put he and KJ together, and you've got a duo that can all play in ball screens and make a lot of really good decisions, and so it's really encouraging. It's something for him to feel good about.
Scott? This will be our last one. Kids work players.
How do you maybe evaluate tonight defensively when there were obviously some good things with holding Sears to 0 points, but then you mentioned the middle drives, maybe some non-shooters making threes. Just what's the overall?
Yeah, that's disappointing. I have no problem with Grant making threes, because every time he shot one that met, one of the other guys wasn't, and it's a percentage game. And I think that's You know, I think Diabate made one. I think it's his first one of the year. You're going to play those percentages, but the fundamental things are the things we can't live with. That's where our help is geared towards. The transition piece, we've been great at it all year. They're number 3 in the country in pace, but you can't give those up. And I thought when we were solid in our stuff, we were solid, and we made things hard for them. But when you have a breakdown, you know, it's kind of like that, you know, that chain. You're only as strong as the weakest link, and we got to clean some of that up.